page 391. Kedat ma lasot b'tzitziot shenifsaku u'talitot yishanim. We're talking about what to do with tzitziot that ripped and old garments, old talitot. So we're looking at the bottom of the page because we did the type already from Marat. Shimush shel chol. You see the bold words there? Shimush shel chol. Chol here is not secular, it's just mundane. Using tzitziot for mundane purposes. Uvetalit sheinam reuim yoter lemitzvah. Or using a talit, which is not ra'ui, fitting for a mitzvah anymore. What kind of talit is not fitting for a mitzvah?
Not kosher.
A tor, let's say a tor. Or it became not kosher. Either one of those talitot. So what do you do with it now? He's going to tell us. Chutei tzitzit, the strings of the tzitzit, shenechtechu, which have been cut. Ve'inam ro'yim od mitzvah tzitzit, and they are no longer fitting for the mitzvah of tzitzit. Ledat Maran HaShulchan Aruch, according to Maran, the author of the Shulchan Aruch, mutar mikar hadin lezorkan nashpa. It's permitted, according to the basic halakha, to just throw them in the garbage. You could take the tzitzit and just toss it out.
It no longer has any kedusha.
Very good. And what do we mean when we say tzitziot? The strings. Don't confuse the garment. Here we're talking about strings.
The strings only.
Mipnei she'tzitziot, because tzitziot tashmishei mitzvahin. They're in the category of articles of a mitzvah, not articles of holiness. Ve'en begufan kedusha. They don't have inherent spiritual value.
So a really well-made tzitzit does not have value unless it's attached to a talit.
Talit. And is able to perform a mitzvah with it. V'chen, and therefore mutar mikardin, you're able, according to the basic halakha, lishtamesh behem, to use them, afilu shimush meguneh, even for we had a good word last week, even for a bad purpose, not a bad purpose, a
Cleaning a shelf or something.
right, using them not just for mundane. You know, mundane is like
Ordinary.
if you wanted to hang it on the wall. You don't hang tzitzit on the wall. You want to tack them to the wall. Here is like using them to hang your laundry with. That is a tashmish meguneh. It's a disgraceful. That's a disgraceful.
Floss.
Very good. You want to you want to floss your teeth. That's a good call. You want to use it as your keychain. You want to tie it to your
I never
pants.
thought of that before. Oh, that's right.
That's a novel
Use it for the sukkah.
approach.
That might be okay.
Page 392. Uledat harama. And according to the opinion of the Rama, so that was Maran. Rama now says, En linhog, you should not use b'tzitziot elu, these tzitziot, minhag bizayon, for a disgraceful purpose. Ulizorkan nashpan, to throw them in the garbage.
Just saying you should throw in the garbage and
But
not
you should
use it?
not.
Oh,
Meaning,
should not.
You can put them aside. Don't throw them away. Don't use them for a bad purpose. But understand that the Rama is going to bring up a middle ground opinion. You can go. The Rama says, "Umikol makom." In any case, dafka biyadav. It's only with your own hands. Asur lezorkan ashpa, that you're not allowed to throw it in the garbage. Let me tell you this: if you take a sidur that was worn out and still has Hashem's name all over it, Chaz v'shalom, you cannot throw it into the garbage. You have to bury it. What if you leave it in a public place where you know that some waitress is going to come clear the table and she's going to throw it in the garbage? Can you do that?
No.
No. It's indirect, but you still leaving it there. You knew it was going to get thrown away. Here, says the Rama, it's not the same story. Here, you can leave it in a place where you yourself are not going to be the one to throw it away. You can cause it to be thrown out, but you yourself shouldn't do it. It's the middle ground of the Rama. I mean, he's not telling you to put it in Geniza, he's also telling you not to throw it away. You could put it somewhere where it will itself become destroyed. But en tzarich legonzan, you don't have to put them in Geniza. Afidu im achamat ken shlo ganzan, yu nizrakin. Even if you know that if you don't put them in the Geniza, they will come out to be thrown away. And I've seen this in yeshiva. People will leave them around lying on the table. Or they leave them in the dining room on a chair. It's like somebody else is going to do my dirty work.
janitor will-
Yeah, the janitor will take care of it.
But it doesn't make sense. If you shouldn't treat it in a disrespectful way, why would you purposely let somebody else treat it in a disrespectful way? It's like you're letting somebody else be the agent to do what you are not supposed to do.
Yeah, it seems like you should be able to do a more gentle sort of throwaway. In other words, like you should, put it in, like wrap it in a
Yes, right.
nice piece of fabric, stick it in a Ziploc bag, kiss it goodbye, and, lay it in the.
You remember
bin or
later
something.
on we mentioned that maybe you would throw it in the compost pile and let it on its own just disintegrate.
Deteriorate.
Compost.
When you get rid of challah, if it's not a tiny little piece, you wrap it up in a napkin or something, and before you throw it away, it's trash.
I'm not an expert in the laws of challah. My wife is the poseket in my household about what she does with the challah. And most people burn their...
I mean, like so you have a Shabbos meal, and there's some.
Oh, you mean the leftover challah
Yeah,
at the
I
end?
don't mean that. Yeah, I mean like just leftover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should know. The Zohar says that a person who's careful not to throw away even crumbs of bread will never be missing money in their life. The Ben Ish Chai used to do this. He would shake out his tablecloth onto a plate or something and burn all the crumbs on Motzei Shabbat. Never in his life did a crumb get thrown in the garbage bin. It's very hard to be careful about
So
this.
burning is okay, but tossing.
Yeah. Tossing is not okay. I mean, don't degrade the bread. You can get rid of it. I'm not saying here you should burn your tzitzit. What I'm saying is that it seems like you have to be a degree removed from their being thrown away.
But the intent is there.
Correct. So that's why, according to Maran, this whole thing is we don't need this discussion. But even Ashkenazim agree that the halakha is like Maran. The Rama is just saying, some people say that this is what you should do. Af ledat Maran Shulchan Aruch, and even according to Maran, yesh omrim shezeu dafka mikar hadin. Some say that that's only the basic halakha. Aval bat nahagu lizaher shelo lizrok lashpa tzitziyot shnichtachum. But the custom is, meaning even in the Sephardic community, not to throw away tzitziot that were ripped. Veinan reuyot od lemitzvah tzitzit, and are not fitting anymore for tzitzit. V'chen shelo yishtamesh behem shimush meguneh. How much more so, not to use them for something that is not okay, that is disgraceful. So some say that even according to Maran, all Maran is saying is the halakha, but it wasn't the custom that was followed. The custom here seems to be more like the Rama, not like Maran. Now listen, I'll tell you the truth. This is something you'll rarely hear from me, so hear it once. Maran is right, but you don't have to follow him. Maran is not telling you it's a mitzvah to throw away your tzitzit. Maran is saying you can. But inside of every person is a certain, call it a spiritual sensitivity. This spiritual sensitivity sometimes is a bad thing. I once had a lady in one of my classes, she told me she can't imagine that you could be tovel, you could immerse your dishes in the ocean. There are lobsters in there, there are crabs in there, there are all kinds of not kosher animals in there, whales, what she was thinking about. And everything I told her didn't help until I told her they're all nullified in 60. Batel b'shishim. There's more water than there are crabs. Oh, okay, that makes sense. What can I do? Sometimes you don't have what to tell a person. They got stuck. That kind of spiritual sensitivity is not a good one, because you're violating a halakha with that spiritual sensitivity. But here, you say, listen, I've gone a long time with this talit. I wore this for a long time, so it's ripped now. I want to wear it again. I don't have a corner in my closet where I could just keep it. I don't have a place where I could just place
It's
it.
kind of like if you got a gift from a loved one. Like when your kids gave you a little present.
It's a certain sentimental value that it
Yeah,
has
you
to
wouldn't
it.
throw it away because we were like, this came from his or her heart.
Sure.
So it's like this is from Hashem's heart. It's a gift.
Very good.
So to
Yeah.
throw it away doesn't make sense. But since it's not usable,
Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, towards the end of his
Sneezed
life,
about it.
gave his talit to one of his students as a gift. Old, worn out talit. And he said, wear it with good intentions, because the tears I had to cry in this talit to understand the meaning of a talit, he said, you should at least try to wear this talit with good intentions. To the contrary, though, Rabbi Vadi Yosef, when he would see a kollel man come into the synagogue with an old talit, yellow, dirty in the collar, he would take it off from him and say, go buy a new one. It's not a mitzvah to look ugly. It's not a mitzvah to wear a dirty shirt. It's like any other clothing. Either get it dry cleaned or buy a new one. So sometimes what you see, like people you could see the stains from their son's bar mitzvah kiddush. It's like, come on, he's already married with 3 kids, but he's still walking around with the chulin stain and the chocolate cake from last week and the strawberries from your son's brit. This is at some point you got to change things up. But talit, still, there's a certain. I don't know how Perez. There were times I would see, but his kippah was like falling to pieces on his head. Perez, do we need to go buy you a new kippah or something? How was the kippah? It's like 20 shekels, like $5. He said, no, he's just waiting so hard. He doesn't want to change his kippah. It's like, do you know how much Torah I learned in this kippah? He said, do you know how much I prayed in this kippah? He said, I don't want to switch it. I'm attached to it. And then eventually you see his wife forced him to put on a new kippah. But there's a certain, that's called it's a sensitivity of Kedusha. It's a good one to have. And the Maran is not coming to dull your sensitivities. Maran is just saying, practically, if you live your whole life and you're stacking up all your tzitziot in your closet, you might need to get a storage unit. So here's what you do in the situation where you need to change your tzitziot. V'hu adin on page 394. The same is true. Bechol hanal, all of the above is true. Li'inyan beged hatalit, according to regarding the actual article of the talit, not the strings, the clothing. Sheyesh lizaher, the one should be careful. Shelo lizorkon hashpa'ah, not to throw them in the garbage. Achar shebala, after they've been worn out. Ve'eno ra'ui od l'vishan, it's not fit anymore for use. V'chen yesh lizaher shelo yaseh ba shimush meguneh, you shouldn't use it for a disgraceful purpose. Like, don't turn your talit into your tablecloth. Kagon lekanech atzmo ba'ar, chas v'shalom, to wipe oneself in the restroom.
That's what Beis Shemush is about.
Yeah, very good. Aval ishtamesh bo shimush she'eno meguneh, but to use it for a purpose that is not disgraceful, yesh laken, you could be lenient.
It seems unimaginable that anyone would use it in a bathroom.
Correct.
Well, now
But you
it
can
does,
wear your
but-
talit in the bathroom.
Yeah,
Meaning it's not like
well, you can't.
used to be. You wear your tzitzit in the bathroom?
Well, that's different,
Why is it different?
because talit katan,
So what?
it's underneath you, and you,
What's the difference
You
between a
string
talit and a
balls for
tzitzit?
some people, the strings
Why can I
are-
wear my tzitzit in the bathroom and the talit I don't?
Because the other, or the talit gadol, you normally only use during praying, you don't wear it all the
Very
time.
good. Very good. That brings good memory. The talit that you wear is no longer considered an article of clothing. It's considered a ritual article. It's an article you only wear when you do holy things. And therefore you can't take such an article to the bathroom with you. Tzitzit, though, is something, it's like your socks. You wear them all the time. You don't have to take them off when you go to the bathroom. Any men here wear, you wear a kittel on Rosh Hashanah Kippur?
no.
No. Okay, so, which is a good Ashkenazi minhag, to wear white. Anyone can do it.
Yeah, it is.
And Rosh Hashanah.
I know many people do.
And by the way, just to get out of a suit every once in a while and put on something a little lighter, it's also a good custom.
Yeah.
But the
Bring
white,
my DJs.
somebody wants. Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur is a good time to wear a kittel. I'll tell you the truth, I don't like the Ashkenazi kittels. For the very simple reason that they're burial shrouds.
Right.
And I know they make them nice and like flowery, but that's what people are buried in, and that's the purpose for wearing them. According to
Remind you
Ashkenazi
of
tradition,
your
the
own death.
reason you wear a kittel is to remind oneself that I might die, and to kind of bring a little bit of awe inside of me. The same reason I wear it by
That's
the wedding.
where you wear kittel?
Yeah, sure.
I thought it was show purity and.
Correct. That's the Sephardic reason for why you wear white. And then Baruch Hashem, the Jewish world has adopted both those mentalities.
Yeah.
And so you wear white. In Yerushalayim, they have, when I wear the white robe that I wear, this is something that everybody could order. It doesn't cost a lot of money, maybe
Yeah.
$80, not something very expensive. And they decided to make like a nice article out of it's a nice, it has stripes, it has a belt, no one gets buried inside of it. And it's a good minhag though. This Ashkenazi custom of wearing white, a kittel specifically, it's a good minhag to have on Rosh Hashanah, regardless of where you come from. A kittel, some rabbis are of the opinion that you cannot wear it in the bathroom. Because even though it's a robe, it's clothing, you don't wear it as clothing. You only wear it for
Prayer.
services. It could be different if a person wears their kittel the whole Rosh Hashanah, like they go eat their lunch with it and they take a nap, and I don't know what they would do with it. In that situation, it might be different. But some poskim are of the opinion that when you go to the restroom, you should take your kittel and hang it up outside for the same reason. And a kittel is not an article that has inherent kedusha to it. There's no mitzvah of wearing a kittel, but it's still a good thing to know. I believe the Mishnah Berurah brings that up.
So you wear a kittel on your toe.
And so what I wear is not really a kittel. It's the same thing as the gold robe that I wear, just in white.
All right.
And
Really more like a Becker shirt.
right, and that I do wear as clothing. I mean, I wear it the whole Rosh Hashanah, so I would wear that in the restroom. Correct. V'yesh omrim, so what would be a shimush, a non-disgraceful purpose for a talit that is not using it for the
A
mitzvah?
tzitzit or a talit?
Let's say a talit. Let's use a talit.
Like this.
Imagine this one. What could you
Like
do
what
with it?
Like in the bima here.
Oh, very good. You could put it on the bima.
Yeah.
That's not a disgrace. It's not wearing it as a mitzvah.
For a chuppah, of course, that's a.
You mean
For a chuppah,
a talit that is not usable?
a talit, yeah, maybe the corner ripped
Yeah.
or something that
You could use it as there, but you could.
you could use it
We
as
had
a
a
chuppah.
we had a pretty fancy one for at these weddings.
Right. What
Can
else
you-
could
can
you
you
use
use
it with?
it to wrap yourself when you're cold?
You might get yourself into the question of having a four-corner garment that doesn't have corners on it.
You can use it for a video backdrop.
So in
The
other words,
purpose
you
I'm
can't
thinking
wear
of,
it.
I don't know if you noticed that this happens on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippurim, that all the shofars are covered.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't mean hag, but kesel yom chagin. It's a play on words. You blow the shofar. It's a hidden month. We don't announce the month of Tishrei. We don't do a blessing for the month of Tishrei, and we cover up the shofarot. Something about hidden blessings being hidden. There's a whole understanding here, and so maybe you want to use the talit to cover up the shofarot. That's still a nice purpose. It's just not a mitzvah.
Why would it be okay to use it here, like if it were torn or something? Why could, I mean, it's in a bin, it's in the shul, in front of the ark. Well, why would we?
It's because it's still just like the velvet ones that eventually we'll get to put on here when someone is kind enough to help us out with that. The velvet one is not tzitzit at all. Why is it allowed to be there? Meaning a talit that has that's not kosher is no worse than a tablecloth.
No, but if it's something an article that's torn, why would
You're
you
right. So
have
it probably has to be It has to look nice. It has to be fitting. I was in a bet chesed once, and they had this terrible parochet. I can't tell you, terrible. It was old and ugly, and so I asked. I didn't say it. I just asked. What is the story? There must be a story that it's hanging up. It's a beautiful synagogue. What's that? That was a parochet from the Holocaust, and I think that there's a lot of value in that. Meaning, it itself might not be physically beautiful, but the message that's behind it is a very beautiful one. And so you have to know that though when you come to such a place. You see sometimes covers. You can find them on eBay, by the way. Covers of Sifrei Torah that are from the Holocaust. Someone found them in a pawn shop somewhere in Poland. It's amazing that you have to buy back things they stole from us. This is an unbelievable thing. But there's no Torah left. It has somebody's name. Somebody in 1920 donated it to a synagogue, and their whole family. Maybe nobody's alive. So there's people who buy these things and they'll embroider their name on the bottom, but they'll leave that cover for the Sefer Torah. See, this is something that has its own meaning and its own value to it. V'yesh omrim, and some say dahainu dafka kshe'en bo tzitziot. Some say this is when you're saying that it doesn't have tzitziot on it. Or tzitziot shebo nichtechu v'nifselu. Or the strings have been cut off or become pasul, not kosher. Aval yesh bo tzitziot ksherot, but if it still has 3 corners or 4 corners of kosher tzitziot, but something else happened to it, yesh yizaher shelo lishtamesh bo afilu shemush shel chol she'eno meguneh. Some say you shouldn't use it for any mundane purpose, even if it's not a bad purpose, because it still has kosher strings on it. I'll tell you, I feel that these teachings are getting farther and farther and farther from the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch said you can use it for whatever you want. You can throw it in the garbage. Rama says, nah, you shouldn't throw it in the garbage. Let somebody else throw it in the garbage. Here we're saying like, no, it shouldn't be. Nothing should happen to it. I think we're getting very far removed from halakha here. There are great rabbis who said these things, but it's.
You know, it's a little like magical thinking, because when you set it aside, what's going to happen to it eventually? You set it aside and you're not using it, you put it away in a closet, you think it's just going to disappear or someone's going to come around and use it, so...
You're just giving it a place, just like all those old papers you still keep around somewhere. They just leave it in the closet. Those papers are never going to go away, and neither will these talitot.
Okay. I mean, to me...
I don't think anybody's thinking like Eliyahu Navi is going to come in the middle of the night and take them with him when he visits your Pesach Seder.
Eventually those things will be used for rags or for this thrown out, so...
But that would be great according to the Rama, so long as you're not the one doing it. I mean, he just came up with the most useful scenario of the Rama. The most practical. Is you did put them aside, and then somebody else later, one of the grandkids came over and used it as a playmat. I know that's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, that is what it is.
Okay.
Yesh medagdekim, some are very particular. This is again from the Rama. Lignoz, to bury chutei tzitzit nichtechu, the strings of the tzitzit that have been ripped. Umishtamshim betzitziot, and they use the tzitziot for what? L'shem Simaniya, as a bookmark, Sifrei Kodesh and holy books, V'chayotze bazeh, and such similar things.
It'd be a pretty
Yeah.
thick bookmark
They say
unless
you
you
can
cut
do
it.
that.
Actually, sometimes
For
the
example?
bookmarks that are shredded look like.
My bookmark and my book from my parents is always a tzitzit. I got a brand new pair of tzitziot. I just spent, I don't know, $80 on the blue strings. I just tied them. I spent a whole day tying them. I sat down in a chair and it got stuck on something. And I stood up and ripped it.
Right away.
But the tzitziot are still kosher. Only one string ripped. So I was studying this page. It must have been Parshat Noach. It was after Simchat Torah. And I put it as a bookmark. And I've been using this bookmark ever since. I see tissues wear out, but the tzitziot don't. What year was that?
Ripped. This is a bookmark.
Yes.
So this is ripped, and this is the same thing. This is really, I mean,
That very good. That could be
Yeah.
a tzitzit. Yeah, sure. So I use it, and I think that's a nice place to. It's not bearing it. It's using it for a holy purpose. And I don't know how many bookmarks you can have, but in Jewish books, obviously, you're not
Yeah.
going to use it for your latest New York Times bestseller novel.